Welcome back to Inspire Great Health. I have some ladies from the Davis Hospice Center today, and we're going to be talking about all the wonderful things that Davis Hospice Center does for our patients and their families. So we're going to go ahead and have them introduce themselves. Payton, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Payton Pontillo. I'm one of the inpatient nurses at the Davis Hospice Center.
I'm Amy Peterson, and I'm one of the outpatient that goes into the homes, RNs with Davis Hospice.
And I'm Kristi Davis. I'm the weekend supervisor, so I just kind of help everybody out over the weekend.
So let's talk about what interested you guys in the Davis Hospice Center. Is it where you started? Had you worked somewhere else? How did you come to Davis Hospice?
I started in the tower as a CNA, and then I worked as an LPN and an RN. And then when I was kind of deciding my next steps, I found that the shifts that I was taking care of patients at the end of their life and initiating comfort care were my most fulfilling steps, and that's when I realized I wanted to be a hospice nurse.
Wonderful. Amy?
So, completely different background. I was in the funeral industry for about 18 years, and then I decided to become a nurse for all the opportunities, but my main goal in becoming a nurse was to become a hospice nurse. And so that has worked out for me, and I have truly enjoyed it.
And I worked in ICU, and Ashley sent out an email needing help for just people taking call. And so I called her to volunteer to take night calls and help them out and things like that. And so I did that for a year and a half, and it kind of just evolved to where I got the weekend position, and so, yeah.
And what inspires you guys about the Davis Hospice Center?
What inspires me is the ability to provide excellent care to our patients. We have fantastic staffing ratios. We work in a beautiful facility, and we're truly supported to not just take good care, but excellent care of patients and their families.
So it's a little different for Kristi and I because we're not in the actual facility. We're out in the homes taking care of patients and helping their family members or friends manage the cares in the home. But it's the same thing. Like, it's seeing that they get to stay home and be where they want to be until their final days, and knowing that we are there to help them and give them all the support families, support the patient, to let them have their final wishes.
I agree. I agree. I mean, just really supporting them and just being there for them. And we have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week phone number that they can call us, and so we can just give them a lot of comfort that they're not alone. So
That's great. That's beautiful.
And a beautiful thing about our team is when they are at home and they recognize that maybe the family is burnout or having difficulties, or the patients are having unmanaged symptoms, they're able to guide that conversation and support the family in bringing them into the center, where we then can help manage that care a little more acutely. And then we collaborate really well, and we're able to get them back home if that's what they decide they want to do, or if they want to stay with us. We all work as a team and support their end-of-life wishes for both the patient and their family.
So sometimes we have situations where they come directly from the hospital and they really, really want to go home, but we have to start managing things. They're no longer a hospital setting, they're a hospice setting, so they'll transfer over to Davis Hospice, get everything situated and crisis management done so that we can transition them home. So it's a group effort, and we always kind of have our thumb on what's happening in the inpatient, and inpatient has a thumb on what's happening in the outpatient, because it's so fluid, it can change at any moment. So it's good teamwork.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like you all work very fluidly.
mm-hmm.
How do you feel Davis Hospice inspires your patients?
You want me to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we inspire, there's something really beautiful about being a part of this moment in people's lives. You never forget where you were when you lost someone you loved. And this is a monumental time for both the patients and their loved ones. And so for us to have the ability to influence that, to maybe be sad, of course, but also a beautiful experience and a peaceful experience and a fulfilling experience, is it's such an honor. And so I think we inspire hope through patients and their loved ones in knowing that the end of their life will be full of comfort and dignity and time with their family, and that we will do all we can to meet their wishes and make them as comfortable and create a beautiful, lasting memory that will stay with them and their family forever.
Well, and I think it's important that a lot of people think that they get told that it's time for hospice, and they think that the next day it's done, it's over with. And it's our goal to let them live the life that they have left as much as possible. You know, we're not there to make it go faster. We're not there to sedate them. It's what they want.
Yeah, they drive their journey.
Yeah. Like, you know, if we have a patient that needs pain management, but his goal is to still be out and about driving, well, then I'm going to follow your lead. If you want to drive, we're going to back off the pain management. When you're ready, you let me know and we'll move forward. But it's what you want to be for your final days.
Dr. Saunders was a founding physician of hospice, and a big piece of hospice philosophy that she quoted was that we'll do all we can to help you live peacefully, but also help you live until you die. And we really try and stick true to that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. What do you want the community to know about Davis Hospice?
Sorry, I'm taking over.
Please do.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say we just really like what we do. And I know that sounds weird in the community, but it's a passion. And it's a passion that we love every day. But the biggest thing is Davis Hospice is a facility that is absolutely gorgeous. And we are so fortunate to have a facility like that. That is not the normal. We're in Wyoming and we finally get something that other people don't get. But we have the in-home, and that's like kind of the basis of hospice. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 avenues to do what people want. We offer those services.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in the community, 5 times of what we have at the Davis Center. And so we really service way more people in the community doing the outpatient setting. And so I think it does get lost in the community that Davis Hospice Center is more than just the center, that we can come to your home and take care of you and help you there as well. So.
And I think I was talking to Payton the other day, and she was saying, like, our focus. So I'm going to let you.
Yeah, what I wish people understood what is so unique about the Davis Center is, one, Amy touched on this, hospice centers specifically like Davis really don't exist elsewhere in the country. They're very few and far between, and even in many like large metropolitan areas, they don't have any hospice facility. And so we're unique because we're incredibly specialized. So if you maybe signed up with hospice on a different service here in town, it may be a home health nurse who's just offering the hospice service. They touch in rehab and things like that. Our nurses, both inpatient and outpatient, this is our specialty. This is what we do day in and day out. And so we're really well educated and really passionate about how to provide the ultimate hospice experience and take excellent care of people at the end of their life.
I honestly had no idea Davis was so unique. I mean, I've grown up around here, and to me, Davis is the norm. So I didn't know that Davis was unlike most hospice centers.
I've gotten phone calls from family friends that said, we thought it was time to move into the facility, and the nurse just stared at us blankly. And I said, probably because they don't have a facility to move them to. So, like Amy said, hospice is really designed to be given in the home, but Cheyenne is very lucky. And that if that doesn't work for that family or for that patient, we do have the alternative, and we can give them the best of both worlds.
That's great. Those are all the questions I have. Is there anything else you guys would like to share with me? It can be anything, just a very special moment you've had at Davis Hospice, or just anything else that you think I've left out.
Oh, Lord, for the special moments.
One thing about hospice is we also provide a bereavement program. So for 13 months after your loved one passes, we can provide bereavement in multiple different ways. We do mailings, phone calls, coffees, luncheons, things like that to help people get through these, difficult times and stuff like that.
And join with others that are going through the same thing, so you know what you're experiencing is normal. So it's nice in that regard. I don't know that everybody fully understands what hospice is. I think you go to the doctor, there's a nurse, that kind of thing for your basic health care. But with hospice, it's all encompassing. It's a holistic level of care. So not only do you have your nurses that come to the home or at the facility, we have our medical director, Dr. Amy Harnish, and she is phenomenal at hospice care. Like I can't say enough about how good she is and her entire team of nurse practitioners that work with her. But we also have social workers, and the social workers go out into the home, and they're helping with different like financial components and just anything like that. We have a chaplain. She's at the facility. She goes out into the home and meets. We have a lot of different people. We have volunteers. It's a holistic level of care that we're trying to take care of all of your needs in one place. A lot of what we do is not just with the patient, it's with the family. And the family, they need to have somebody to support them too, whether it be emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Like, if you're taking care of somebody in the house, you've probably never done half of the cares like a CNA would do. So we're going in and teaching them how to do that and giving them not only that education, but supplies and things like that. So it's so much more than just medical management. I mean, we build a pretty good relationship with everyone. I love that they trust us and will call us. And even if it's just a minimal question, they know they can ask us, because why sit there and wonder when you could just take care of the problem? So
Again, they're never alone. Even for the outpatient, there's always somebody there if they're, needing us.
I think that's great. And I love that you touched on that. They're never alone, because I think death can feel very lonely for a lot of people. So I just want to thank you guys for being there for our patients when they're going through this.
I wish people recognize that hospice is a good thing. Eventually we're all going to die, and we shouldn't shy away from that conversation. And dying with hospice means you die with comfort and you die with dignity, and you are able to make peace with your life and move on in a comfortable way, and your loved ones are able to have a support team to guide them through their grief. And so I wish we weren't afraid to talk about it, and I wish we recognized that it's okay and hospice is a good thing.
Let's talk a little bit more about the bereavement program. Are there meetings? How does one get in contact with the bereavement program? Or do they contact the patient's family after their loved one has passed on?
So both. So the nurses in the outpatient world and the inpatient world will have this little booklet that we'll give to the families at the time of death and let them know that, we have a bereavement program, and when they are ready to go through it or something like that, they're welcome to reach out to us. They can call the main number and get Susie, our secretary, or anybody who answers the phone, just let them know that they need hospice, and then we can guide them as to who we have. Diane and Dee and the chaplain and handling that right now, and they have organized teas and coffees on a special day of the month each month. And listed in that bereavement program, it shows you different sources to go to online, and just different things. We do these teddy bears. So if you have a shirt of your loved ones, we have volunteers that make these beautiful teddy bears out of their clothes and stuff like that. So there's just several different things that volunteers will call them. They send out mailers, with some bereavement information, such as how going through hard times and what you can do to, process some of it and everything. So, yeah.
And I think, like, when I'm talking to families about the bereavement component, I always want to make sure they know they can, like, interact as much as they want to. If they get a phone call in the first month, they're like, no, I don't need this. Mm-hmm. But the next time, they're like, okay, maybe I'd like to try something. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, use it how it works for you. It's not a one and you're done kind of thing.
Right. Another great thing we do with bereavement is we have 2 really significant events throughout the year. In the summer, we do a ladybug release in the park. So we come together. That is through invitation in the mail. So that's another mailing that they'll receive. And they're invited to come release a ladybug and hear their loved one's name read as the list of patients that we lost throughout the year. And then at Christmas time, we do our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which is really beautiful and really special. And that's also through invitation. And then we also have one that's open to the public. book where loved ones can come and hang an ornament on the tree with their loved one's name or maybe a special message, and that we kind of touch base. And we always love and enjoy that too, because we get to see loved ones who we haven't seen in a while and check in with them. And that's great to touch back on those relationships that we spend so much time building.
I guess just kind of a takeaway is that hospice does not have to be something that a physician tells you it's time for. If you notice somebody is kind of failing or having some big changes, declining, you can always just call Davis Hospice and ask for an assessment, and that's all it takes. And we'll have a nurse come out and assess, and then we'll see if they qualify and go from there. It doesn't have to be that they went to the doctor and they were told this.
Right.
Some people don't like to go to the doctor.
Yeah,
So
so they'll be really failing at home
Yeah.
big time and be close to death by the time they finally reach out to us. They don't have to wait that long. You can reach out earlier and you don't have to make it to the doctor to be able to.
for an official referral.
Yeah, because we can assess that and take it to our provider, and then our provider will make the determination at that point.
Or even yourself. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
You can even call yourself and say, I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nice that anybody can reach out and our team will support them.
But you do have to qualify. So there are qualifications. You have to meet for a certificate of terminal illness, which means that if you follow a predictable course, that your lifespan does not normally expand less than or more than 6 months. So.
But that's where we come in to help
exactly.
them see what they
Exactly.
qualify for. So.
Yeah.
And it's even happened before. Sometimes we say, you're not quite there, but we'll keep checking in with you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call you in a few months and see how you're feeling, and
Exactly.
we'll continue, if that's something you think you're interested, we'll continue to follow you. So we even stay in touch with people who aren't technically on our service, just to make sure that people are getting the resources and support that they need and want.
And as said earlier, so that they know they're not alone.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, now, in the odd situation, but it does happen, you can graduate off of hospice too.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So, I mean, sometimes we are so good. No, that's not it. That's not it. But, it just depending on the situation, you can, in essence, get stronger and stuff, and then you're doing so well that you don't show the hospice need at that point, which is great. We love that too. So
Yeah, we want people to know that we support that. We don't want anything to happen that your body and that you are not ready for. And so if your body is showing signs of improvement, we support that and we want to encourage that. And again, we want to help people die peacefully, but we also want to help them live until they die. So if that means it's not time, we fully encourage that.
if we helped with the tools and the resources for you to get stronger, great.
Great.
Yeah. Yes, that is great. There is a follow-up question I have. We talked about having that conversation about hospice. How would you encourage or just tell a loved one, if they have a loved one who they think needs to be in hospice, how would you have them approach that? Because sometimes people aren't ready for that conversation.
A lot of times they're not.
I think a great thing to start with is, I want to respect your wishes. And so I want to talk about what your wishes are. And so that if the time comes, I know that I'm doing right by you. And again, I think not being afraid. It's not a fun conversation. And sometimes it's okay to say that too. This is not a fun conversation or anything that we want to think about, but we do want to be prepared. And so let's talk about what that looks like for you.
And I think that more so with being in the home, it's reassuring them that morphine is scary. That doesn't mean you have to have it right now. We don't just come in and give that. But the other thing is that you have the 24/7 nursing support. So it's I'm aging myself, but I didn't have this. But, way back when, it used to be where the provider, the doctor would come to the house and you would get your exam, blah, 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 whatever you needed right there in the home. So it's kind of like that because a lot of people can't get out to the doctor. It's just, it takes so much energy that it's nice to have us come to the house. We check in once a week. If there's something going on, they can always call more than that. But to know that they have somebody coming to help fix the signs and symptoms that they're having right then and there.
Well, and two, I think that I would talk to them about suffering and, do you feel like you're suffering? And are you in so much pain that you can't bear it? Are you so short of breath that you can't function? We get people on our hospice services that are just so miserable with not being able to breathe, or their pain is so severe that when we start educating and teaching them and medicating them the way that's appropriate, they can actually start having a better quality of life for some time because they're able to breathe, they're able to move around more and participate in relationships and stuff like that because they're not suffering so much. So when I have a friend or a loved one that I see suffering, I like to talk to them about their suffering and how hospice can help alleviate some of that. So.
And we have a really strong palliative care team. If it's a provider in the hospital, I think involving palliative care is a great step. They are very skilled at having that conversations with patients and their family in a very delicate way, and respectful and tactful way that doesn't make anybody feel that, we're jumping to conclusions if they're not sure that they're at that point. And so we're falling back on our palliative care team is a great resource to start having those conversations.
You mentioned palliative care. Tell me a little bit more about what palliative care is and how they work in tandem with hospice.
You know this.
Palliative care is more for people that have chronic diseases that still wish to go to the doctor and get treatments, such as a cancer patient that's still on chemo, things like that. They can still be supported under palliative care because they're able to help manage symptoms that just a regular doctor's not able to do.
So palliative care is actually, for those that don't know, a step before hospice. So it's still having a nurse practitioner come out to your home. I think it's about once a month that helps you manage what's happening in the here and now and get like medication refills and things like that. It's not as hands-on as hospice, where we're going to be there, a minimum once a week, maybe every single day. We're available 24/7. They're not quite that hands-on, but it is a nice step before to have support.
Yeah, so they're able to continue with treatments, and they're able to continue going to their doctor's appointments and their specialists and all of that kinds of stuff. It's just an additional layer to make sure that you're comfortable and you're not experiencing a lot of symptoms during that time. Where hospice is able to do a little bit more for those symptoms without concerns and worries when people are still trying to go towards treatment and stuff. So
They're a great added layer of support and support for other physicians too. They bring alternative ideas on symptom management to the table, and can offer a different insight because they have a different perspective of what their goal is for the patient care. And they're really, again, I'll go back to that. They're great at navigating that conversation. If you do have a chronic illness and they've been seeing you for a while and they've seen that you've declined, and helping guide what your wishes are, and when they also can give the idea, we think you might be ready for hospice. We've been supporting you and we're seeing a change, and this might be a conversation to have. And so they're a great supplementation when you're seeking treatment, and they can help make that transition over to hospice a little bit smoother as well.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I can just say that to the families that have entrusted us for hospice care for themselves or loved ones, thank you so much for allowing us to take care of your loved ones. We truly appreciate that you take the time or allow us the time to come to the home. Or
it's such a personal,
it is
private moment in your life.
Yes. Yeah. I know it's a very tough conversation, but I think you ladies do it beautifully. Everyone at Davis Hospice, you guys take such good care of our patients. And I thank you, the community thanks you, and I just really appreciate you guys being here with me today to explain this a little bit further.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time.
Yes,
of
thanks
course.
for having us.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today for this very special topic. And tune in next time. We'll be talking more about our care program.